Hey everyone, this is David, aka The Variety Guy. I thought I would just pop in and provide another little update into the progress on my upcoming edit, Rogue One, the Andor Cut. Initially, when I first got the inspiration to make the Andor Cut as the Andor series was coming to a close, and I released that initial teaser trailer back in May, I kind of figured that at this point in October, the entire project would have already been completed. Unfortunately, I did not realize just how long it was actually going to take. And as it was becoming more apparent that it was going to take a little bit longer than I initially expected, I thought, well, maybe I could finish it in time for December 16th, which would be the 9th anniversary of the original Rogue One film. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that's going to be the case either. It is still going slowly but surely. I'm still working on it a little bit more each day. It is becoming by far the most complex and expansive edit I've ever worked on thus far. Honestly, probably more than the other 5 I've done combined. In terms of raw assets, for sure it has. Considering all the sound effects and dialogue lines and music that I'm changing. At this point, we're probably looking at first quarter of 2026, which sounds kind of insane, but we're already halfway through October, so it's kind of just right around the corner. Basically, the most time-consuming part, like I mentioned in my previous update video, is just adding the Andor score, replacing it with the Rogue One score, in which case I have to add every sound effect back in place, including the usual sound effects you would expect, like blaster fire or spaceships or whatnot, but even just down to Foley sound effects, footsteps, breathing, clothes rustling, wind, ambient sounds, doors closing. Every single sound effect that's in the film, which you don't really realize how many there are until you do something like this, I'm having to go through and re-add manually, and it's really fun to do. It's just very time consuming, and I didn't quite realize how much so until I really started getting into that. Honestly, the majority of the edit is pretty much finished. In terms of runtime, we're probably 80% of the way there. It's just that last 20% is a lot of scenes and sequences left that I still want to replace the Rogue One original score with the Andor score, which I feel fits the tone of this version of the movie just a little bit better. And it's the longest stretches of runtime, uninterrupted, of music that I have to change. So it's a lot of sound effects in a row that I have to go through and add. The dialogue isn't too hard. I can usually isolate the center channel in Audacity and then use voice isolation if needed in Final Cut Pro to remove the bleed through. And that's usually pretty clean. It's just adding all the sound effects, panning them correctly, because this is a 5.1 surround sound mix, which also, this is the first edit I've ever worked on with lossless audio and HDR color grading. So it's also a big learning curve to make sure that I'm doing all of that correctly and making sure all the settings are correct and whatnot. Even once I put the final finishing touch on the edit and I can call it complete, I'm still gonna have to do a lot of ancillary work after that, making sure all the subtitle tracks are synced correctly, doing a lot of tests, making sure that the MKV and ISO files are all correct and compatible with a wide array of devices and players. I'm very excited to share the final product with you all, and I know that you've been patiently waiting, and I really appreciate that and appreciate you sticking with me on this. I sure hope that the demand and the hype isn't diminishing based on how long this is taking. I feel bad because I feel like I'm stringing you along, but I didn't realize myself initially how long this was going to take. In retrospect, instead of saying coming soon, I kind of wish I had just said coming May 4th, 2026, even if it wouldn't actually take that long, just to give me like a little less than a year of a buffer. And if it would have been finished sooner than that, it would have been a happy surprise instead of just coming soon and then waiting further and further and further. And I feel bad about that. But I myself did not realize how long this was going to take. But I hope that once it finally does come out, you will agree that the wait was well worth it. I'm feeling the pressure of all the demand. Just kidding, kind of. As the old adage is, let him cook. If you will, allow me to cook just a little bit longer. And actually, the more time I spend in the timeline editing this, I'm revisiting scenes that I thought I had already completed and realizing, oh, I can actually make this part better, or let me implement this change and whatnot. So it actually is helpful, giving it a little bit more time to marinate. Speaking of which, a lot of you had really great suggestions and ideas and feedback in the comments of the previous videos that I've uploaded thus far on the Andor Cut, and I'm considering making a video devoted solely to the changes I've made based on your feedback in the comments, because there have been some really great ideas that I've put in and made it even better, so I really appreciate you for that. And then of course, once the final edit is eventually released, alongside of that, I will be releasing an hour-plus long every change in video, like I did with my Star Wars, the original trilogy, the Final Cut edits, and Star Wars, The Siege of Mandalore, and Revenge of the Sith. Which obviously that's a whole other thing that I need to edit, but I can't finish that until the edit proper is completed. And that alone is gonna be a whole other beast to tackle. But I don't even want to think about that right now. That's gonna be quite the project. But I think it is a necessary video to show in visual format changes made, and my previous videos like that have been very popular. I have a couple other preview videos I have planned to tide everyone over until the final edit releases. And honestly, in retrospect, I probably should have spaced out the ones I've uploaded thus far a little bit more. But again, I thought the entire thing would have been done at this point. I did not realize how long this was going to take. I'm not able to announce a release date just yet because I'm not sure myself when I'm exactly going to be finished with this, but we're getting a little bit closer each day. I'll be announcing the release date as soon as possible though, alongside a poster for the edit that I hired an incredible artist to create, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. I'm really excited to share that with you all. I think you're really going to like it. Also, I'm planning on making subtitle tracks in the final file. So far I'm doing Spanish and French for sure, so let me know what other languages you'd like to see, and hopefully I can do it justice, and by that I mean Google Translate can do it justice. Ideally, I would have an entire team of bilingual translators working for me, but unfortunately I don't. So I appreciate you all sticking with me on this, as well as taking the time to watch this update video, and I ask for just a little bit more time to finalize and perfect this edit. And I want to say again, I really appreciate all the positive feedback I've received thus far on the various videos I've uploaded. It's overwhelming. I really appreciate it, and I can't wait to share the final product with you all. I think it's really going to be cool. But stay tuned to the channel. I look forward to sharing more details and updates in the near future. And I hope that once the final edit releases and you give it a watch, that you agree that it was well worth the wait. How many times can I say edit in this video? But anyway, until next time, this has been David, aka The Variety Guy, aka Exuberant Raptor Zeta, signing off. Thanks a lot. Take care. Whoa.